catch 'em all.
Hey guys, PokéDan here. In the Pokemon world, we have hundreds of Pokemon for fans to adore. And whereas some are more loved than others, there are definitely Pokemon out there that just don't get the love that they deserve. I feel for these Pokemon, so I wanted to make a video where they would be the main focus for once. So today you join me to discuss the 3 most underrated Pokemon from each region. And well, not just me.
What's up, Lumiose Trainers? Lumiose Trainer Zac here. And today, I'll be helping Dan in finding some of the most underrated Pokemon from the Pokemon franchise. Of course, this is all just our opinion. So if you just so happen to have a favorite Poké Monster that often gets overlooked and we don't talk about them in the video, feel free to drop them in the comments.
And if there are Pokemon that definitely deserve to be on this list who we've not added here, chances are we might have mentioned them in Zac's video. So of course, we didn't want to talk about the same Pokemon twice. That's right, this is a 2-part collab between Zac and myself. So be sure to check out his video of the top 10 new evolutions for Sword and Shield after you're done here. But with that being said, let's get started with the video.
Starting off with Kanto, we've got the 3rd place slot, and it goes to Golduck. This is such a cool Pokemon, and we feel like it doesn't get enough love. I mean, everybody knows Psyduck for being goofy and lovable, but Golduck? He's more known for being that Pokemon that got cheated out of a Psychic typing. And that's not fair. Just look at the Golduck that Misty used during an episode of the Orange Islands. It's definitely one cool Pokemon with an awesome personality.
Next up, we have the normal type, but not so normal looking, Lickitung. Now, I understand why some people dislike this thing. It's the tongue. But I gotta say, personally, I have quite some love for this pink guy. I've used it with Eviolite on Wi-Fi teams of mine before, and it performed really well.
Taking the number 1 slot for Kanto is Marowak. This Pokemon has always been known for its backstory of getting killed off by Team Rocket, but that's pretty much it. It isn't until Alola, where it got a new form, that it finally got some spotlight again, but to its Alolan form. Regular Cantonian Marowak is just as cool, guys. It was recently revealed that it was supposed to have an evolution in Gen 1 that connected it to Kangaskhan, so that's way more lore that goes to this Pokemon than we originally thought. Plus, it carries a badass bone as a weapon. That's pretty hardcore.
Kicking it off for Johto is Girafarig. In previous videos, I've been vocal about my love for this Pokemon, and I stand by my prior opinions. For as cool as this thing is, it just doesn't get enough attention. Of course, I am biased. I mean, I used it on my Soul Silver team one time, and it kicked some serious butt. So for me, it's annoying to see its potential get so overlooked.
2nd place for Johto is Donphan. Not only did this Gen 2 Pokemon make an early appearance in the first movie back in Gen 1, but Ash ended up even having one during the Battle Frontier. Maybe if he used it more, it wouldn't be so underrated, but come on. This Pokemon has a pretty cool and original design, with it looking like a giant tire when it uses Rollout. Almost makes its rollout skills as iconic as Whitney's Miltank, and that's saying something.
Taking 1st place for the Johto region is none other than Lantern. Guys, I'm the kind of person who doesn't always love the really popular Pokemon. And when starting my YouTube channel, I chose Chinchou as my channel mascot due to it being so underrated. This evolution line shares a pretty unique and awesome typing, being water and electric, and apart from Rotom's wash form, this is shared with no other Pokemon. As well as its awesome typing, I love this Pokemon's origins and just its overall design and how adorable it is.
Third place for Hoenn is Ninjask. The reason we believe it's underrated is because most of the time, Ninjask is overshadowed by Shedinja. Get it? Cause it's a ghost type? Because Shedinja is obtained in such a unique fashion, on top of it having a unique typing and ability, Ninjask seems kinda lame in comparison. Oh gee, another bug and flying type. But hold on there, compadre, cause Ninjask is still pretty cool. For one, it's super speedy, and 2, it's a ninja. Ninjas are cool dudes.
The runner-up for Hoenn this time round has to be Torkoal. The problem this Pokemon faces, as well as many other Pokemon with no evolution line, is that to a lot of people it just doesn't stand out. Of course, we spoke about Pokemon who need evolutions in Zac's video, and Torkoal was very nearly on that list because it could really benefit from evolving and gaining more attention.
Number 1 for Hoenn is Walrein. It's actually a pretty decent Pokemon when you think about it. A 3-stage water and ice type. Not bad. Only problem is that its evolutionary family is found pretty late into the game. There's also the fact that you kinda had to surf to reach the Shoal Cave where Spheal is found. Well, you're already surfing over there, so chances are you don't need another water type on your team. But still, Walrein is an awesome Pokemon that deserves way more recognition than it actually has.
Oh boy, time for Sinnoh, starting with one awesome Pokemon being Toxicroak. In the Sinnoh anime, this Pokemon's pre-evolution was such a great character who appeared on Brock's team, and it just overshadows its evolution. Heck, it even made it into PokéDan instead of Toxicroak. Let's be honest, Croagunk is just awesome. But in terms of using it on a playthrough, Toxicroak would just be so much stronger for obvious reasons. And I feel like Toxicroak doesn't get much of the spotlight due to its pre-evolution stealing it so often.
Next is Yanmega. Out of all the new evolutions introduced in Sinnoh, Yanmega is probably the most underrated. Probably because Game Freak didn't make it a dragon bug, but that's besides the point. Yanmega is still pretty cool, even with that huge fault. For one, it has an awesome design. Like, who thought that Yanma would evolve into this buggy beast? There's also the fact that Jessie had one in the anime. Yanmega also has access to the ability Speed Boost, which nobody can complain about. Well, you know, unless you're the one facing it, of course.
In at first place for the Sinnoh region, we have Hippowdon. Now this is a Pokemon that has always fascinated me due to its different forms depending on its gender. I remember first seeing a darker version of Hippowdon's pre-evolution Hippopotas and thinking it was a shiny, but after learning about its different designs, I just thought that it was so cool.
Third place for Unova is Swoobat. Zubats and Golbats are annoying as heck, but what if they had the Psychic typing? Swoobat is pretty underrated, with it being, you know, Unova's generic cave bat, but it's actually not as bad as its Gen 1 counterpart. Swoobat's Psychic typing definitely makes it a lot more interesting and changes this cave annoyance into a Pokemon that can be pretty viable on an in-game team.
Unova introduced a lot of different Pokemon, but not many of them are as unique as the Sourcebook evolution line. Depending on what season it is in-game, this Pokemon receives a different design, and this is a concept that I'm a big fan of. Having used Sourcebook on various Unova teams of mine, I must admit that I have a lot of love for this Pokemon. Sourcebook is one really cool Pokemon, it's just sadly not as relevant as other Pokemon from Unova.
Making its way to number 1 in Unova is Mienshao. This Pokemon takes the top spot because we think it's a really good Pokemon. Only problem is that Unova is littered with so many great fighting types that Mienshao kinda gets lost in the background. It has a really cool design, with it being inspired by Shaolin Kung Fu, which is awesome as heck. It really makes it stand out from other fighting types that are based on other unique fighting styles.
Coming in at third place for Kalos is Meowstic. What is it with Pokemon who have various forms being so underrated? I remember first seeing this Pokemon after it was announced in the run-up for Pokemon X and Y. The concept of this Psychic type and its two different forms was something that I really liked about it. So much so that I even used it on one of my Kalos playthroughs. Although it's not one of my absolute favourite Pokemon from the Kalos region, I still think it deserves much more love.
Second place for Kalos is Heliolisk. The Kalos region is home to so many great Pokemon, but this is one that we don't hear many people talk about as well. This Pokemon is pretty interesting because of its pre-evolution, Helioptile, making an early appearance in the Gen 5 anime. On top of that, it also has the unique typing of Electric and Normal. Not the best typing in the world, but still unique. Also, did you know that Heliolisk is the only non-grass type to evolve from the Sunstone? So there's some fun facts for ya.
Finally for Gen 6, we have the Poison and Dragon type Dragalge. Despite this Pokemon's awesome typing, since it was introduced, it seems to have just been forgotten about somewhat. In a region that introduced fan favourites like Greninja and Goodra, it's understandable that other Pokemon were left standing in their shadows. But I really like Dragalge, so I think it should be up and out of those shadows.
Coming in third for Alola is Ribombee. This Pokemon is pretty special because its evolutionary line is the only bug and fairy typings in the game. There's also the fact that it's one of the fastest Alola region Pokemon. Yeah, in a region full of really slow Pokemon, that's gonna make you stand out. I can't be the only one who struggled with that dang Totem-Rabombi speed.
Next up for Alola, we have not one but two Pokemon to talk about, being Turtonator and Drampa. Gen 7 introduced a lot of single-staged Pokemon, and the majority of them were amazing. But the problem with a Pokemon having one stage is that these Pokemon tend to get forgotten about. Turtonator and Drampa are two Pokemon from Alola who are definitely affected by this. Despite these guys being somewhat powerful, they just aren't talked about too much, and I mean, that's just a shame.
And first place for Alola is Palossand. We believe this Pokemon is extremely underrated. Yeah, it may not be the best Pokemon in the world, but it still deserves some recognition. For one, it has a pretty cool ability, Water Compaction. This ability gives Palossand a defense increase when it gets hit by a water type attack. So basically, if it's hit by its own weakness, it gets tougher. That's awesome! Also, Palossand has one of the coolest shinies in the game, with it turning black to mimic real life black sand. I love it!
But anyway guys, with all that being said, that pretty much wraps things up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. Also, I want to say a huge thanks to Lumiose Trainer Zac for joining me in this video. Be sure to check out the other video that we made together over on Zac's channel. It'll be linked in the end cards and the description of this video.
Thanks Dan, I've had a lot of fun. Also trainers, be sure to leave a comment on this video talking about other underrated Pokemon we might have missed.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. So for now, I've been PokéDan, you've been amazing, and I'll see you guys next time.